When a woman starts to ignore you, it can be a mix of frustration, confusion, and even hurt. These emotions might lead you to question her intentions, your own self-worth, and how to respond to the situation without seeming desperate. But here's the truth. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy centered on resilience and self-control, teaches us that how we handle being ignored reflects both our inner strength and our understanding of human nature. Ignoring someone, whether intentional or not, can be a subtle power move. However, if you know how to respond correctly, you can change the dynamic in your favor while maintaining your dignity and self-respect. Today, we're going to explore 9 powerful ways to prevent her from ignoring you. But remember, these strategies are not about manipulation. They're about understanding human psychology and addressing the deeper reasons behind why she may be acting this way. Lesson 1. Master emotional detachment. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you gain control over your emotions. When a woman senses that you're deeply emotionally invested, she may start testing the boundaries by ignoring you. This isn't always a conscious decision on her part. It's often a way of gauging how much influence she has over you. So, what is emotional detachment? It's the ability to remain calm, collected, and composed, regardless of external circumstances. Stoicism teaches us that the more we react to the actions of others, the more control we give them over our peace of mind. If a woman is ignoring you, and you react by becoming anxious or desperate, you're essentially giving her the power to affect your emotional state. Let's break this down further with an example. Imagine you're dating someone and they suddenly go silent for a few days. A person who is emotionally invested may bombard them with texts, trying to get a reaction or explanation. But someone who has mastered emotional detachment will stay calm, understanding that their own value isn't determined by someone else's actions. What does this achieve? It subtly communicates, I am whole and complete on my own. Whether you give me attention or not doesn't define me. This calmness and self-assurance often lead the other person to reconsider their actions. When they see that their absence doesn't provoke a reaction, they lose their perceived control over you. That's when the power dynamic shifts. Emotional detachment is a skill that takes practice. It's not about being cold or indifferent, but about realizing that your peace of mind is more important than someone else's whims. In the long run, this will make you more attractive to women and people in general because it shows that you are not needy or dependent on anyone else's validation. Lesson 2. Boost your value through self-improvement. Let's talk about why self-improvement is critical in relationships. Often, a woman may start ignoring a man because she subconsciously feels she has the upper hand in the relationship. This happens when she perceives that she holds more value in the dynamic than you do. To shift this, you need to focus on becoming the best version of yourself. And this doesn't mean making superficial changes. It's about real growth. Whether that's advancing in your career, building a healthier body, or developing a skill, the key is to channel the energy you'd normally waste on chasing her into bettering yourself. For example, if she's ignoring you, instead of getting upset or waiting by the phone, you could hit the gym, take up a new hobby, or focus on your work. This creates a sense of progress and fulfillment that radiates outward. Women, like men, are naturally drawn to those who have purpose and direction. Let's dive into the psychology behind this. When a woman perceives that you're constantly striving for betterment, she'll find it hard to ignore you. It's a concept called social proof, the idea that people are more attracted to those who are perceived as high value by others. If you're excelling in your career, working on personal goals, or simply living a life full of purpose, you become a person who commands attention and respect. It's worth noting that self-improvement isn't just for her benefit. It's about you becoming a more fulfilled person. Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius often spoke about the importance of self-discipline and growth. By focusing on improving yourself, you'll feel more confident, more independent, and ultimately more attractive, not only to women, but to everyone in your life. Lesson 3. The power of silence. When someone ignores you, the natural impulse is to fill the void with words. You may be tempted to send messages, call them, or make gestures to grab their attention. But here's the thing, there's tremendous power in silence. Silence can often say more than words ever could. If she's ignoring you and you respond by not reacting, by staying silent, you're sending a powerful message. It says, I'm not dependent on your attention and your actions don't control me. Why is this effective? Think about it. Silence signals confidence, control, and restraint. It shows that you're not going to let someone else's behavior rattle you. If she's expecting you to chase after her and you don't, it can make her question her own behavior. Is she really willing to lose you? This is a classic example of the Stoic principle of self-control. The philosopher Epictetus often spoke of the importance of focusing on what we can control rather than what we can't. Your reaction to her behavior is within your control. By choosing silence, you maintain power over the situation. Let's consider a practical example. Imagine you've been seeing someone for a few weeks, and out of the blue, she stops responding to your texts. The immediate reaction might be to text her again, asking if everything is okay or what's going on. But instead, you remain silent. You continue with your life, as usual. What happens next? Often the lack of response on your end forces her to rethink her behavior. Silence creates a sense of mystery and leaves her wondering why you're not chasing her. Lesson 4. Setting boundaries through actions, not words. Setting boundaries is essential, yet many men struggle with this, especially when dealing with a woman who is ignoring them. A lot of people think setting boundaries means having a conversation about it, but often the most powerful boundaries are communicated through actions, not words. When a woman ignores you, it's an opportunity to show that you have boundaries. Instead of confronting her directly or asking why she's being distant, focus on living your life. Engage in activities that make you happy, spend time with people who value you, and stop giving her so much mental energy. Here's an example. Let's say she cancels plans last minute or stops replying to your messages. Instead of sitting at home feeling upset, you make plans with friends, hit the gym, or do something productive. By continuing to live your life and not making a fuss, you're showing her through your actions that her behavior won't derail you. Setting boundaries without needing to talk about them often has a greater impact. She'll recognize that you respect yourself enough not to tolerate being ignored, and this can shift the dynamic in your favor. Lesson 5. Leverage scarcity to create desire. People naturally desire what is scarce, and this is a concept that applies in relationships too. If you're constantly available, she might start taking your presence for granted. The solution is to create a sense of scarcity. This doesn't mean playing hard to get in a manipulative way. It's about genuinely having your own life and interests, making it clear that you're not just sitting around waiting for her attention. When she reaches out after ignoring you, don't immediately jump to respond. Show that you have other things going on in your life. By being less available, you create an air of rarity. Human nature tends to value what's not easily accessible, and this principle applies to relationships as well. When she realizes that she can't have your attention whenever she wants, she may start to crave it more. Lesson 6. Stay composed, avoid emotional outbursts. One of the most common mistakes men make when they feel ignored is reacting with frustration or anger. Emotional outbursts, however, are rarely attractive, and women often see this kind of behavior as a sign of weakness. Stoicism teaches us to regulate our emotions and remain calm in the face of adversity. This applies perfectly to romantic relationships. If she's ignoring you, the last thing you want to do is react with anger or desperation. Instead, focus on maintaining your composure and showing that her actions don't provoke emotional chaos within you. A calm demeanor not only makes you more attractive, but it also gives you the upper hand. When you remain unflustered by her behavior, it forces her to rethink her approach. She'll see that you're not easily rattled, which can often prompt her to re-engage with you. Lesson 7. Cultivate a sense of mystery. Women are naturally drawn to mystery. If she knows everything about you and you're always available, she might lose interest. To prevent this from happening, it's important to cultivate a sense of mystery. This doesn't mean playing games, but it does mean having a life that doesn't revolve entirely around her. Engage in activities that fascinate you, pursue goals she's not fully involved in, and keep certain aspects of your life private. When there's more to discover about you, she'll stay intrigued and want to learn more. Mystery is about maintaining an interesting inner life. The Stoics believed in self-mastery and introspection, which are key to developing this sense of mystery. By continuously growing and evolving, you'll keep her attention and make it much harder for her to ignore you. Lesson 8. Lead by example and command. Respect in a relationship is earned, not given. If she's ignoring you, it could be a sign that she doesn't fully respect the value you bring to the relationship. The best way to earn respect is by leading by example. Show her that you're a man of integrity who sticks to his principles and lives by his word. For instance, if you've told her that certain behaviors are unacceptable and she crosses that line, you need to stand firm in your boundaries. Living with integrity and principle is something Stoicism emphasizes heavily. The philosopher Seneca said, "It's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." By focusing on leading a life full of purpose, discipline, and respect for yourself, you naturally command respect from others. When she sees that you're consistent in your values, even when she's distant, it's likely to prompt her to reflect on her actions. Lesson 9. Know when to walk away. As much as we might want to change the outcome of a situation, sometimes the best thing we can do is walk away. If a woman continues to ignore you despite your efforts, it's crucial to recognize when it's time to let go. Stoicism teaches us the importance of accepting what we can't control. You can't force someone to care, and trying to do so often leads to further frustration and heartache. Walking away isn't about giving up. It's about valuing yourself enough to not stay where you're not appreciated. By walking away with grace, you send a clear message: I respect myself enough to move on. Ironically, this can often be the point where she starts to realize what she's losing. Even if she doesn't, you've done the right thing for your own well-being. Conclusion. These 9 strategies, rooted in psychology and Stoic philosophy, are designed to help you navigate being ignored by addressing the deeper dynamics at play. More importantly, they empower you to stay grounded, confident, and true to yourself, no matter the circumstances. Remember, the goal isn't to chase her attention, but to command respect by becoming a man of value and inner strength. When you embrace these principles, you'll not only stop her from ignoring you, but also enhance your own personal growth and fulfillment.